Good morning, and welcome to today's broadcast of Isaiah News. Today we'll be learning about the Latinx ideology of machismo. Now, before I go on, this is prevalent in all ethnicities. But today we're just going to be focusing on the ones in the Hispanic community. Machismo is the idea that men are supposed to be these strong, breadwinning, hypermasculine people in order to fulfill their place in society. In this ideology, men are asked to act a certain way and to keep their emotions secret from others. In this video, I will show you studies done on machismo, how it could affect our children, and we will even have a special guest to tell us about the topic. Now to Isaiah with the story. In the first study conducted, researchers examined the relationships of machismo and the effects it has on its victims. According to Guerrero, a researcher studying the effects of machismo, hypermasculinity in men has been linked to several significant risk factors for child maltreatment, including physically and sexually coercive behavior, verbally aggressive behavior, alcohol abuse, and lower frustration tolerance and levels of empathy. Guerrero used several tests to help lead her to discover these surprising facts. She administered tests like a demographic questionnaire that asks questions like household income and education level, the BCAP, which measures the potential of child abuse, the conflict tactics scale, which is broken down in a couple of parts but measures partner violence, the hypermasculinity inventory, which measures the hypermasculinity personality constellation, and finally, the sexual experiences survey, which asks the subject if they have participated in forced sexual activity. Through their research, they found that hypermasculinity is closely correlated to physical abuse, substance abuse, and psychological abuse. There have been several studies that also state the same thing. For example, a study where assaultive inmates were asked to deliver a shock to a fictitious female opponent in retaliation of provocation. They found that more hypermasculine men were more susceptible to delivering the shock. How can machismo be harmful to children? Well, as we have learned earlier on in this semester, modeling plays an extremely large role in a child's development. If a child's father figure fits the role of a macho man and takes part in some of the previously stated actions, the child will feel compelled to act the same way as them. Machismo also damages the child emotionally, making them emotionally unavailable to their family, friends, and loved ones. The child then grows and passes on these ideas to their children and thus continues the cycle of this idea of masculinity. What is machismo to you?
Machismo is this concept that exists in the Latino culture where men are considered to be superior than women. And that follows some very rigid gender roles.
Okay. From a child psychologist's point of view, do you think this can be beneficial or harmful to children today?
So looking at from a developmental perspective of children, I think definitely, as I defined it earlier, it can be more hurtful, and because it prescribes specific roles for men that are very rigid and that do not allow for expansion on what masculinity can be. And the role that machismo plays in it, it really prescribes these roles.
Although machismo may seem like it's completely bad, it does preach some good qualities that are passed on. For example, Jennifer Mesa from the Los Angeles Times states that machismo is not about being a tough guy, but about being a good guy. She observes a círculo of men praying and passing around incense for each other. Further on in this article, Mesa reviews Alejandro Moreno, a member of the círculo, who states that a macho man can be someone who is strong, but he should be a person who wants to be the backbone of his family, support his wife, help his children, and be sensitive to their needs and his own. Although machismo may have some psychological side effects, it seems to build a strong cultural values as well. So, is machismo a good thing or a bad thing? Well, we can't really say except for it's up to you to decide. What we can say for sure is that we can't force people into this gendered way of thinking without giving them a chance to decide for themselves. Why? It might lead to future acts of aggression,
anxiety, and depression. This has been Isaiah Rodriguez signing off. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, Isaiah. Up next, we have a story that might surprise you all. Many of the Republican representatives did not even read the new healthcare bill. Any reason why that can be problematic? We have more coverage of that story coming up next.